Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 53. Text 10 to 17. So we'll read from text 10 to 16 and then we'll read 17. Text 10. Pitrun devan samabhyachya Vipramscha vidhivan nripa bhojayitva yata nyayam vachayamasa mangalam. O king, in accordance with prescribed rituals, Maharaj Bhishma worshipped the forefathers, demigods and brahmanas, feeding them all properly. Then he had the traditional mantras chanted for the well-being of the bride. Susnatam sudatim kanyam kritakautuka mangalam aha aha tamsika yugmena bhusitam bhusanottamai. The bride cleaned her teeth and bathed, after which she put on the auspicious wedding necklace. Then she was dressed in brand new upper and lower garments and adorned with most excellent jeweled ornaments. Purport: according to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti, only spotless clothing fresh off the loom should be worn during auspicious ceremonies. Chakru samaryugyajur mantrair vadva raksham dvijottama purohito tarva vidvai juhava grahashantaye. The best of the Brahmanas chanted mantras of the Rig, Sama and Yajurveda for the bride's protection, and the priest learned in the Atharva Veda offered oblations to pacify the controlling planets. Purport: Vishnu Chakravarti points out that the Atharva Veda often deals with the pacification of unfavorable planets. Hiranyarupya vasamsi tilamscha guda mishritan pradadyenuscha viprebhyo raja vidibidambara. Outstanding in his knowledge of regulative principles, the king rewarded the Brahmanas with gold, silver, clothing, cows, and sesame seeds mixed with raw sugar. Evam cheti pati raja damagosha sutaya vai karayam asamantragye sarvam abhyudayochitam. Raja Damagosha, lord of Chedi, had also engaged Brahmana as expert in chanting mantras to perform all rituals necessary to assure his son's prosperity. Madachyudbir gajanikai Syadanairhema malibi patyashva sankulai sainyai parita kundinam yayo. King Damagosha traveled to Kundina accompanied by armies of elephants exuding mada, chariots hung with golden chains, and numerous cavalry and infantry soldiers. Tamvai vidarbhadi patai samabhyetyapi pujyacha niveshayam asamuda kalpitanya niveshane. Bhishmaka, the lord of Vidarbha, came out of the city and met King Damagosha, offered him tokens of respect. Bhishmaka then settled Damagosha in a residence especially constructed for the occasion. Text 17. Tatra shalvo jara sandho dantavakro vidurata ajagmus chaitya pakshiya paundrakadya sahasrasaha. Tatra shalvo jara sandho dantavakro vidurada ajagmuschaidya pakshiya paundrakadya sahasrasaha. Tatra shalvo jara sandho dantavakro vidurada ajagmuschaidya pakshiya paundrakadya sahasrasaha.
Tatra shalvo jara sandho ajagmuschaidya pakshiya paundrakadya sahasrasaha.
Tatra. There. Shalva. Jarasandha Dantavakra Vidurata. Shalva Jarasandha Dantavakra Vidurata and Vidurata. Ajagmu came. Chaitya of Shishupal. Pakshiya taking the side. Paundraka. Adya and others. Sahasrasa by the thousands. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada ki, the Shishupala supporters, Shalva, Jarasandha, Dantavakra and Vidurata all came along with Paundraka and thousands of other kings. Purport. Those familiar with the history of Lord Krishna's life will immediately recognize the names given in this text. The kings mentioned here maintained a deep animosity towards Sri Krishna and opposed him in one way or another. But they were all to be frustrated and defeated on the occasion of Shishupala's would-be wedding. That's the purport. Om Jnana-timirandasya Vinanjana Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadame Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tapalakana Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Tadunadam Vitam Tvam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devi Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakamatam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Sevama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Kevcha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sabodhita Bodhodaye Pushpavanto Chitra Sandoktamon. Hare Krishna. So I beg forgiveness, probably you might be expecting Prabhu to speak, but somehow I think Prabhu's health is not so good, so therefore I am sitting here. So here we are discussing the text, the marriage of Rukmini and Krishna, and in this way, and along with marriage of Rukmini, naturally, all these rituals are also happening. King Bhishmaka, he has, he arranged for all the Brahmanas to offer all the rituals so that there can be auspiciousness for the wedding. So like that, and all the kings have come from all the way from different provinces to grace the wedding. And Shishupal himself had come, and with all his infantry, cavalry, and all that. So, and in order to be in order to be the bridegroom. So in this way, we see that how in Vedic times, that all the activities are being offered, especially in spiritual Vedic times. There was no difference in activities. The activities are same, irrespective of whether devotees like Yudhishthira Maharaj does or demoniac people like Duryodhana does. Here we see there are both people. There are Jarasandha and Shishupal and his team. And there is also Rukmini. He is also taking part in similar activities. There is also the Brahmana who is the trustworthy friend of Rukmini. And all the Vaidarbhavasis as well, who are all having a divine, who have a sweet will that Rukmini has to get united with Krishna. So in this way, so it's all a matter of consciousness. So here we are seeing that there is, some devotee was saying yesterday, day before, there is action and romance, there is adventure and romance. Prabhupada writes in one purport that people in a way want to read novels, they want to read adventurous stories, they want to read action, thrilling, and humor, and all that. Everything is available in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that Prabhupada says. Like Vritrasura. Bhagavatam is considered one of the names of Bhagavatam. It is said Vritrasura Samhita. Because it is considered to be such a big battle, and that it is called as a Vritrasura Samhita, like that. So Vritrasura, this Chitraketu Maharaj, all of a sudden he becomes a big demon. And for a newcomer novice, if someone has to direct a movie based on the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is so much information and so much thrill and adventure one can put in order to make such a wonderful movie. And that's how Ramayana and Mahabharata become so popular in 90s. So in this way, so basically it's about dovetailing our karma in Krishna's service. We have our karma, we come with the baggage of our karma, and it has to be dovetailed in Krishna's service. So here Rukmini, of course Rukmini is goddess of fortune, she has no karma as such, but still we can learn from her life. And all the Vaidarbhavasis, how they are dovetailing their karma in Krishna's service. The karma which we have, if we act upon it, it will produce either good karma or bad karma, depending upon how we act upon it. If we act upon it for a favorable activity, if we act upon it in a favorable way, if it produces punya karma. If we act upon it in an unfavorable way, it produces papa. So the karma which we have, we can't avoid it. The baggage which we are carrying, we can't avoid it. So, but if we act in a way that it is dovetailed in Krishna's service, then it produces, it doesn't produce any result, Prabhupada says. It becomes akarma. There is karma, there is vikarma, and there is akarma. So then it produces spiritual result. So here, so in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that all these different devotees, they are teaching us, they are all warriors, they are all, most of them are householders, Arjuna, Rukmini, all the Vaidarbhavasis, they are all householders, and they are gopis or women, and then there could be brahmacharis and sannyasis as well. So whatever, irrespective of whatever they are, so they are teaching us how to dovetail one's karma in Krishna's service. Because there are different things which we can dovetail. Like let us say, if we are using this microphone, it's very easy to dovetail in Krishna's service. We just use it for a divine purpose. If we go to Kali Puja, around it is happening. There everywhere, you'll see microphone, chonga, just to disturb us. So much noise. Wait for 1 or 2 days, probably here also we'll hear from the chonga. So, so Prabhupada tells, we have the microphone, gives this proper example. We have the microphone, and then Prabhupada speaks about tape recorders at that time, cameras. Nowadays, we don't have tape recorders anyway. So, so these are, in one sense, easy to understand. Okay, they have to be used in Krishna service. And yeah, these are, to some extent easy to understand. And much more easier to understand is, if we have our home, or if we have a building, or if we have a monument wherein we have to worship Krishna. Home can be worshipped in a way that, we can have mundane things happening in home. Or we can keep Krishna in the center of our home and worship Krishna also. So in this way, home can be doubted in Krishna service. But doubting was karma in Krishna service, and we don't know what karma we have anyway. Of course, we know in the sense that to some extent we may know, okay, this is how I'm going. So, and this is the best way. So this is the kind of karmic situation which I have. For future, we don't know. Current situation probably we know, but future we don't know. So then how do we engage in Krishna service? Therefore, Bhagavatam is, there are so many examples in Bhagavatam by which we can understand, how do we engage our, karma, our astrology, our Jyotish in Krishna service. Rukmini is so clear, she has no ambiguity that she doesn't want to get. There is no ambiguity that probably if Krishna does not accept me, maybe I'll choose some other devotee, or maybe anyway she's being forced to be with Shishupal. So probably she can think, okay, I'll convince Shishupal that you may be my husband, but at the same time you let me practice devotional service, something like that. She could have thought, but she has but she is very convinced. She says that when she writes a letter to Krishna, she says that, my dear Krishna, if you come and if you don't come, and if you don't choose my hand, then there is no other alternative for me than to commit suicide. Very clear, black and white. So Rukmini knows what is Krishna's will, basically. She is very clear. This is what is Krishna's will, and this is how I have to execute, or this is how I have to execute Krishna's will. So basically, two factors are very important when we are speaking about dovetailing or karma. First is we have to know very clearly what is Krishna's will. Most of the times we don't know that. So there has to be an endeavor in knowing what is Krishna's will. And then there has to be how do we know? We can know it from devotees. We can know it, the best way by which we can know is it from devotees, especially senior devotees, advanced devotees. That's the best way by which we can know what is Krishna's will. Krishna's will for us. Krishna's will for us. So that's the best way by which we can know. We can know from Shastras, Guru Sadhu Shastra. We can know from Shastras. When we read Shastras, we get conviction. Yeah, this is what Krishna wants me to do. We know from the Sadhu, we know from Guru, we know from Shastras, and Krishna is sitting in our heart. Bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. If we serve with devotion, then Krishna gives that revelation. Of course, it has to be tallied with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. There is no doubt about it. But then all these are different ways by which we can know what is Krishna's will. So first thing is to know what is Krishna's will. We were discussing the example of Rukmini. Rukmini is very clear. She knows that I want Krishna to be my bridegroom only and nobody else. Prabhupada writes in Kardamuni section, Kardamuni and Devahuti. I'm just saying, we are just discussing because we are discussing on this text of Bhagavatam, we are discussing it. So Prabhupada writes in that place that Kardamuni and Devahuti section, he says that when a girl chooses a bridegroom or a boy chooses a bride, then they have to choose in such a way that what Krishna wants of me, and accordingly they have to choose. Like that Krishna says, those who want to get married, so this thought should be there in mind. Whom do I choose in a way that Krishna is pleased with it? So like that. So Prabhupada writes this in third canto, in Kardamuni and Devhuti section, where when Kardamuni is, because Kardamuni, for Kardamuni, Devhuti was personally chosen by Vishnu, right? It's a very big thing. So, so there Prabhupada writes in the purport. Yeah, so here we are discussing about Rukmini. So Rukmini knows very well what Krishna wants of me, and therefore she expresses her determination in that way. Yeah, so so first thing is to know what is Krishna's will, and then second is to put our endeavors in a way to execute, because sometimes we know what is Krishna's will, what from devotees, from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So we know it, but then we do not have the determination to execute it. So that endeavor has to be put in order to execute it. Otherwise it doesn't. Otherwise it only remains on paper. Okay, this is what Krishna wants of me, but I'm not. But I don't have that qualification. If we are too humble, we may say that I don't have that qualification. So therefore, so that determination has to be put in to put that determination. So two factors we were discussing, right? One is to know what exactly is Krishna's will, and another is and to execute it. That is the first factor. And the second factor is to put that consciousness in it. Only consciousness will not help. Sometimes we do sometimes we say that Prabhupada therefore says bhakti as devotional service. It has service. Service naturally means according to Krishna, according to devotees, according to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And devotion means consciousness. Prabhupada doesn't translate it as devotion alone, or neither does he translate it as service alone. He says devotional service. Devotional service means there is devotion also, there is service also. So in this way, these are the two factors by which our karma, which includes our propensities, are doubted in in Krishna consciousness. We see several examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we get to know from it. One of the famous examples from Srimad Bhagavatam is that of Arjuna. Now Arjuna and Hanuman we discuss a lot, because Hanuman is a big hero. He has the power. Practically, he has the power to uproot Ravana, because he is more powerful than Vali, and Vali himself had uprooted Ravana. He has the power to kill Ravana. Similarly, Arjuna is the most powerful person on the Kaurava side. So many people, so many commanders are changed. Earlier, initially Bhishma was there, later on Drona, later on Karna, then Shalya, finally Ashwadhama. So all 5 commanders have changed. But on Pandava's side, Arjuna was the constant hero. Arjuna and Bhima were the constant heroes throughout the battle. And of course, there were others also, Satyaki and Drishtadyumna, and no doubt Krishna. So in this way, so all these, so we were discussing Arjuna. So now Arjuna, had he not had Krishna, had Krishna not been there with him, there is no way he would have won the battle. There is no way he would have won the battle. Now Arjuna is very powerful. He went to heavenly planets to get all the different astras and shastras, and all of them, he got them. For 5 years he was in heavenly planets during the Vanavas. But he didn't have that power. Because on the other side there were Bhishma and Drona who were no less, Karna who were no less, many others who were no less. So Arjuna had that talent, we can say. Arjuna surely had that talent. And Arjuna had that talent. But then how do we know? So one may say, one can probably think, because Krishna never lifted any weapon during the battle of Mahabharata. He lifted one chariot wheel, that is hardly a weapon. That is not a weapon, it's a chariot wheel basically. So Krishna never lifted any weapon in the battle of Mahabharata. So one can, an ignorant person can say that it's on the strength of Arjuna or Bhima that the battle has been won. But actually not so. And how do we know? Yeah, Arjuna and Bhima, surely they have put their full endeavors in Krishna's in battling with the Kauravas, in Krishna's mission for battling with the Kauravas. But at the same time, that was not sufficient in itself. Prabhupada writes in one purport, first canto, maybe we'll see. So when Prabhupada writes that Pandavas retired timely, that chapter, or the chapter before that. In that Prabhupada writes in first canto, wherein he says that, so in the war, there are so many, it's not just prowess, there are so many tactics and strategies and maneuvers which have to be undertaken. And that requires tremendous endeavor. So that requires tremendous endeavor. And then Prabhupada goes on to say, on Pandava's side, there was Krishna who was personally doing all these things. He did not lift weapon, but he was the master, mind behind everything, basically. So we were discussing that Arjuna had his prowess and he had his, of course, he's a pure devotee, but for the sake of discussion, he had his prowess and he had his karma, by which he can be the Prabhupada ki jai. So Arjuna had the prowess and that karma to be able to be the foremost warrior, surely. But then it is not sufficient. It is not sufficient. And time and again, Krishna had helped him. One of the famous places where Krishna had helped him is that Arjuna took a vow that if I don't kill Jayadratha today, then I will throw myself into fire. So at the end of the day, Jayadratha was far off. And there was a host of Kaurava soldiers, Kaurava commanders. Everybody was there. Drona, Ashwadhama, Karna, Duryodhana, and all those 100 or so, whatever number of sons of 5 brothers of Duryodhana. Everybody was there. Kritavarma. So then how Jayadratha will be killed? And sun had set, almost set. So Duryodhana was very happy. This means the battle has got finished because Arjuna will be killed. He had to enter fire and he will surely enter fire. He is not going to come for the battle tomorrow. So in this way, Duryodhana was very happy. But then Krishna intervened. And we know what had happened. Later on, we hear the story that when Krishna and Arjuna were, after the battle, Arjuna told Krishna, my dear Krishna, you get down. Because Krishna is more respectable personality, right? So he said, you get down. Krishna said, no, you get down. So Arjuna, obediently he followed it. And then after Krishna had gone down, then the whole chariot had gone into fire. Krishna said that there were so many weapons which have been projected upon this chariot. And I have been protecting it myself. Therefore, nothing had happened all this while. There is one another incident where one of the warriors, I don't remember who did it, he sent a Narayanastra. No one can face Narayanastra. No earthly being or no one other than Vishnu can face Narayanastra. So Krishna was driving the chariot, and when Narayanastra was coming, all of a sudden he stood up. So that Narayanastra hit Krishna and it turned into a garland. So Arjuna became worried. He said, "Arey, why did you do that? Anyway, I'm strong enough. It's not that, when I'm unconscious or something like that, what is the point in all of a sudden intervening?" Krishna said, "You don't know what is coming." And that was Narayanastra. No one can face it. Only I can face it. So in this way, time and again, Krishna had intervened. So in a devotee, when one executes Krishna's, when one executes the will of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and one devotes one's karma in Krishna's service in this way, time and again Krishna actually intervenes. We may not be able to do it by our own means, but time and again Krishna intervenes. And Krishna protects us. So basically the whole endeavor becomes, so it's like Krishna is saying, "Okay, Arjuna, you go ahead and do it." And when Arjuna is not able to do, then Krishna comes and intervenes. One story, folk story, they say that, when on the day before Jayadratha, Krishna was very worried. How will Arjuna face it? How will Arjuna face it? How will Arjuna face it? And then all of a sudden, he was so worried. He was thinking it's not possible that Arjuna will face it. And then he calls Daruk and he says, "My dear Daruk," he says, "you keep my chariot ready. In case Arjuna is not able to do it, then I'll blow my conch shell, you bring it, and I will personally kill Jayadratha." Like that he says. Of course, Krishna has managed it. It never happened. But that was Krishna's consciousness. I'll tell you one story, sir, just to understand. Just to understand. This is analogy, we can say. One devotee, one time he was traveling in train. So the train, the head of the train in which he was traveling, is this devotee. He's not, generally devotees don't eat here and there outside. And he was not carrying anything. He was traveling somewhere in South India. So the head of the train happened to be a devotee as well, and he is well known to this devotee who is traveling. So they were talking, and neither had any prasad. Neither had any prasad. So then, so they were discussing. So this head of the train, he has some acquaintance in some station, which is nearby to station. Say, if someone has to come from there, it may take 15 minutes or something like that. Some time it may take. So then this head of the train, he was saying that, so I have this acquaintance, so the train will stop there, so we'll get prasadam from there for both of us. I was not thinking for myself, but you're also there, so I want to help you also, I want to serve you also. So we'll get prasadam. So this devotee said, no, I'm not required, anyway, after some time we'll reach. So he was saying, no. But then they saw the train is supposed to stop only for 2 minutes. Going and coming will take 15 minutes. So then this devotee said, anyway, train is stop only supposed to start. It's not possible also, just leave it. The train master said, I am the train master, I know how much time to stop, you don't worry. So the train practically stopped for 15 minutes and they got prasad. So about 1,000 people might be in train. And everyone is thinking, oh, there is some signal problem, there is no clearance from the, whatever you call it as, clearance from railway department. That's what they thought. But then this is the actual reason. So similarly, Krishna actually intervenes in devotee's life, and nobody knows also. It happens, the train is traveling for, say 48 hours. In between somewhere, instead of 2 minutes, it is stopping for 15 minutes. Who will come to know? Nobody will come to know. Only the devotee who experiences will come to know. That the train had stopped, which is supposed to stop for 2 minutes, had stopped for 15 minutes because this is train master's arrangement, my master's arrangement. Otherwise, general people do not know. So Arjuna also, and everybody thought that, or Duryodhana thought, there, all of a sudden, probably clouds might have, Duryodhana might have thought something like this. Clouds might have, covered the sun, and once the clouds dispersed again, the sun had come out. Probably this is what Kaurava said, that even when Duryodhana had been shown Virat Roop, he could not believe. He said that that is some magical form, like that he thought. What to speak of, some remote covering of the sun. So in this way, so basically, this is how karma becomes divine. Karma acts, but it acts under Krishna's supervision. And then whenever it is required, Krishna makes adjustments. And this cannot happen unless and until we are actually under Krishna's instruction, actually under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastras. And it also cannot happen if we do not have that consciousness. Sometimes we may be acting under Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, but if we do not have that consciousness, either we will be pulled in to have that consciousness, or we will be pulled out to be out of the supervision of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So, when a devotee is sincere, then he'll be pulled in. Eventually, he'll get that consciousness. Now, we are discussing Arjuna's example, wherein we say that, or some sadhaka's example, wherein we say that, the sadhaka's karma is very little, but being under Krishna's supervision, he executes Krishna's will. And sometimes when there is a lacuna, Krishna covers it. It could happen the other way around also. So sometimes the karma of a sadhaka may be very big. Prabhupada, recently we were hearing Prabhupada's example. Prabhupada himself was speaking. Prabhupada said that, according to the astrologer, I was supposed to become like Birla. He said my pharmaceutical business was becoming so successful, and I was manager in somewhere in Calcutta. Then I opened a North Indian outlet, and it was becoming so much successful. All people were coming and taking my medicines and all that. And all of a sudden, Krishna had come into my life. Krishna started taking away everything from me. Slowly and slowly, Krishna had taken away everything, and he made me a pauper. He forced me to become a pauper and completely get engaged in his service. And eventually Prabhupada became successful. But probably Prabhupada would, just saying for the sake of argument, the material success which ISKCON had in 70s is probably not as much as Birla's had. Maybe a few crores ISKCON might be having, but not thousands of crores which Birla's might be having. It's the karma which the astrology, of course, Prabhupada is a pure devotee, but just to learn from it, we understand that sometimes someone may have very big karma. But very big karma means karma to be a very big person or something like that. But one engages in Krishna service, and Krishna may manipulate it. And seemingly one may do it small, one may become small, but one becomes very fortunate. The question is not about big or small. The question is about engaging karma in Krishna's service. So this is how. We see from all this. So Rukmini here we are seeing, or the Vaidarbhavasis, so there are Rukmini. She is preparing herself. She's doing makeup. She's putting on garments. She's putting on nice perfumes and all this. And all the Vaidarbhavasis, they are all doing all the arrangements. But then it's like any other ordinary marriage. But then, because they're all doing under Krishna's supervision, under Krishna's will, it's transcendental. It's not ordinary anymore. Now Shishupal and Jarasandha and Shalva and all these are also involved in it. But because they have animosity towards Krishna, so it's no more. So it's offensive to Krishna. It's no more transcendental anyway. So this is the art of dovetailing one's energies in Krishna's service. The art of dovetailing is to submit ourselves to Guru Sadhu Shastra and to have that consciousness, both. Only consciousness is not, it doesn't remain. If the will is not executed, it doesn't remain, the so-called consciousness. It's not devotion anymore. Only action, surely it will help, but eventually it has to turn into consciousness as well. So in this way, and then whatever inspiration which we and then now the consciousness means what? The consciousness means that in this way the thought that whatever we are able to render. Of course, there are several aspects of consciousness. One of the aspects, primary aspects of consciousness, which we are discussing about. And one of the primary aspects of consciousness is that whatever we are able to do is by Krishna's grace. Prabhupada writes in 4th canto, Prudu Maharaj meeting with the 4 Kumaras, I think the 22nd chapter, I believe. So, as far as I remember, 46th verse. He says that all the property in this world, it belongs to Brahmanas. All the property, it belongs to Brahmanas, like Prabhupada writes. Now it's very tough to understand how all the property belongs to Brahmanas, because the property, all the wealth which is there in this world belongs to Brahmanas, like that is Prabhupada writes. Now it's very tough to understand how it belongs to Brahmanas, because they don't maintain it, they don't own it, they don't do transactions with it, nothing they do. They are insignificant in comparison to the wealth, so to say. And how does it belong to Brahmanas? Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says the only reason, he says the reason is because the Brahmanas, they spread Vedic knowledge. They spread Vedic knowledge. By the spreading of Vedic knowledge, they become the source of inspiration for everyone. So whatever activities, a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra or a Chandala or anyone who does, the primary reason why if it is being done in Krishna's consciousness, the primary reason why they're able to do it is because of the inspiration which is there. And that makes it the wealth. That makes the wealth belong to Brahmanas. That makes the wealth belong to Brahmanas. So Prabhupada goes on to write in that purport that Brahmanas may accept charity, they may, they may seem to be beggars, but actually the wealth is under the custody of all these different other classes, and they simply take it. Whenever they need it, they simply take it. Like that Prabhupada writes. So the inspiration which is it's coming from Brahmanas, it's coming from spiritual masters, and it is coming ultimately from Krishna. Various classes of people, Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Shudras or whatever you call it as in modern day context, politicians or businessmen or laborers or employees or whatever you call it as. If they are engaged in Krishna service, the inspiration is coming from Krishna, and the inspiration is coming from great devotees, Vaishnavas. That makes the wealth belong to Krishna, and that makes the wealth belong to Vaishnavas, like that. And that's how the whole credit belongs to them. So, yeah. So in this way, we understand that, and not only that, it's in a society, where all these different classes. One is not an lone individual. It did not happen. It happens because the activities happen because there are so many other individuals who are there, and they are all inspired by Krishna. Collectively, they are all inspired by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That's how the great good belongs to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and Krishna. So in this way, we get the opportunity to hear how these different personalities like Rukmini and all this Bhishmak. Of course, Bhishmak is siding with. Though Bhishmak, he wants Rukmini to get married with Krishna because of his asat sangha, because of his bad association with Rukmini. He wanted that by his agreeing that Shishupal get married with Rukmini, like that. So like that. So in this way, so we learn from these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam that seemingly ordinary activity, how it is transcendental. Seemingly ordinary romance, how it is transcendental. Seemingly ordinary thrill, how it is transcendental. Seemingly ordinary adventure, how it is transcendental. So in this way, we learn that how in our life also we have an opportunity to engage the romance and the action and the thrill and the adventure which we have in our life to make it transcendental. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.